Thursday. Single girl. I focused on those two words until my vision clouded. Then I focused in on her left hand, which was visible around her cocktail glass. There is no ring, obviously. The hashtag in the caption, however, took my breath away. This wasn't simply about not wearing a ring. She actively presented herself as single. Martha returned home that night to find the ring on her finger, as it always is. She greeted me with a friendly kiss. I didn't confront her or disclose the photo. Instead, I watched and waited. The next morning, just before leaving, she removed the ring and stashed it away in her purse. "Have a great day, babe," she said, as the door closed behind her. I sat at our kitchen counter for quite some time after she departed. Before I proposed, we had been together for 3 years, and lived together for 2. I thought I recognized her. Now I was wondering what else I'd missed. That afternoon, I called my pal Eric, who works in the same industry as Martha, business consulting. I summarized the situation without mentioning specifics. "Man, that's not normal," Eric stated plainly. "I know plenty of married women in the field. No one's hiding rings for professionalism anymore. This isn't 1962. "That's what I thought," I answered. "Look, I don't want to put ideas in your head, but you might want to dig a little deeper." I didn't need any encouragement there. That evening, while Martha was showering, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked her phone. Never done it before. I always respected her privacy. But the ring had shaken a key part of my trust. What I discovered was worse than I had imagined. I was unaware that there was a different Instagram account, a Tinder profile that was active as recently as last week, and text interactions with men, including Keith from the office, revealed that she wasn't just appearing as single, she was acting single. I took screenshots of everything, emailed them to myself, and returned her phone just how I had found it. When she got out of the shower, I managed to act normally. For the following 2 days, I was filled with cold, planned fury. I didn't yell or confront her. Every evening she'd come in with that ring on her finger, kiss me, ask about my day, and I'd pretend everything was good, all while plotting my escape. On the 3rd day, I made a move. I waited till she departed for work, the ring neatly tucked into her purse. Then I packed my important items, piled them into my truck, and headed to the bank. See, I had been saving for our wedding. A separate account with $42,000 put aside for everything, including the venue, catering, and honeymoon. Martha was aware of this account, but did not have access. She had no idea that I had secretly added her name to it last month. I had intended to tell her at dinner that weekend that she would have complete access to the wedding finances, and could book whatever she wanted. What a surprise, huh? At the bank, I closed the account entirely. All the cash went back into my own account, which she couldn't touch. Then I drove to my friend Mark's lake cottage. He agreed to let me stay there while I figured things out. Text messages began at 2:17 p.m. "James, what the hell were you doing? The wedding venue has just called. They stated that our money had bounced. I called the bank, and they told me the account was closed. Answer the phone right now." I did not respond. I just watched the notifications build up. By dusk, her tone had shifted. "James, please speak to me. I don't comprehend what's going on. Whatever you suspect is going on, we can repair it. Please call me back. I love you. Please do not do this." The next day, she must have gone home over lunch and discovered some of my belongings missing. That's when the terror set in. "You moved away without speaking to me? What the hell is wrong with you? This is ridiculous. You can't waste 3 years for nothing. Please, James. I beg you. Whatever the issue is, we can work it out." Nonetheless, I said nothing. Just documented everything. Then her most recent communication took me off guard. "Oh God. Did anyone tell you anything? Is this regarding work-related issues? I can explain anything, I swear. It's not as you think." That evening I finally ended my silence. I sent her just 4 items. A screenshot of Keith's Instagram post. A screenshot from her Tinder profile. A screenshot of her text to Keith claiming how I was unaware of them. A photograph of my empty ring box. No comment. There's no furious message, just the evidence. Her response was quick. Phone calls, messages, and emails. She arrived at our apartment, which was now solely hers after I paid the following 3 months' rent, but removed myself from the contract. When she couldn't find me, she tried contacting my friends, family, and even my boss. She was hysterical, crying, and imploring others to tell her where I was. Nobody did, Because no one knew. Except Mark, who has been my best buddy since 5th grade, and would rather cut off his own arm than betray me. After 3 days of quiet from me, her texts became increasingly urgent. My credit card is maxed up so I can't even buy food. I was banking on the joint account to cover the rent next week. I'm terrified. Please help me. Keith just told me that they're letting me go from work. Someone forwarded the screenshots to HR. Was it you? How could you do this to me? My parents won't even speak to me. What have you told them? For the record, I did not send anything to HR or her parents. Did not have to. Keith panicked when he discovered I had their texts and confessed everything to their supervisor in an attempt to get ahead of the situation. What about Martha's parents? They figured it out when she called in hysterics about my emptying our wedding account. Her father called me instantly and I answered. When he heard my side, including viewing the evidence, he simply sighed heavily and remarked, "She's always been her own worst enemy." I am sorry, son. It has been 2 weeks now. I've relocated to a new flat. I filed for a clean break. Fortunately, we weren't married yet, so it's only a matter of dividing our few shared belongings. I kept the furniture I brought into the relationship and let her keep the items we purchased together. Fair is fair. What about the ring? Still in my truck's glove compartment. Part of me wants to sell it and recoup my losses. Other half wants to remember that even people who gaze at you with tears of delight after accepting a proposal may be living a parallel life. Last night, I finally responded to one of her calls. Not out of weakness or forgiveness, but to put an end to it. "What do you want, Martha?" she cried. "I need help, James. They are threatening eviction. My cards are all maxed out. I have no one else to turn to." "You had me," I replied gently. "A man who loved you enough to buy you a ring you never wore and set aside money for a wedding you never intended to have. And you threw it away. These are your choices, not mine. I've made a terrible mistake," she sobbed. "I was bewildered and dumb. We can fix this. There is no us anymore, Martha. Figure it out for yourself." I hung up and blocked her phone. Then I poured myself 2 fingers of whiskey and felt a sense of peace settle in. The worst aspect of betrayal is not the lies they tell you, but the reality they disclose about themselves. Martha's actions, rather than her words, revealed who she truly was. And I believed her. Walking away and locking the door behind you might sometimes be the most effective gesture you can make, instead of confronting someone. Update. A week later, I did not anticipate this post to receive so much attention. Thank you for all of your messages of support and prizes. Several folks requested updates, so here's where things stand a week later. First, to respond to the most typical questions. Yes, I kept track of all the money I placed into the condo and wedding fund. No, she cannot sue me for the wedding account, because I consulted with my lawyer before shutting it. Yes, the ring is legally mine, because the engagement ended owing to her adultery. In my state, engagement rings are treated as conditional presents. Martha's attempts to reach me changed to social media following my last post, as I had banned her phone number. She's been providing a very different version of the story, saying that I financially mistreated her by taking our wedding fund and leaving her without resources. A few common acquaintances initially believed her, until I personally showed them the facts. The most unexpected event came from Keith's wife. Yes, it appears that he has one. Or had one. She contacted me on Facebook thanking me for unwittingly revealing their affair. Keith had been telling both her and Martha the same story about being dissatisfied in his primary relationship. When everything went wrong at their business, she found out about Martha and numerous other women. She has filed for divorce and brought their children to live with her parents. Martha's financial position is unknown, although I have heard from common friends that she has returned to live with her parents. Her father, whom I had always admired, called me again to apologize for the incident. He said that he and his wife had enabled Martha's actions throughout the years and never held her accountable. Maybe this is the wake-up call she needs, he told her. In the midst of a difficult situation, I appreciated his decency. I sold the ring yesterday. I took a 30% loss on what I paid, but it was worth it to close that chapter. I used some of the money to schedule a solo trip to Montana next month. I've always wanted to try fly fishing. My new apartment is coming together. Simple. Clean. Mine. I've reunited with acquaintances whom I had neglected during my engagement with Martha. In retrospect, it appears that she gradually isolated me from a number of people who weren't good for us. A friend persuaded me to join him at his boxing gym. Hitting the heavy bag 3 times a week has been the best therapy I could have asked for. I am sleeping better.